We are using the template driven approach to add a new book in this application, and for that we have created this form, and in this form we have covered so many topics. Now there is one more important concept that we need to learn here in this Angular application. Okay, so let's go to the VS Code, and this is the application that is running on 4200 port. Let's open that form that is available inside this books components, add books over here. So these are all the components that we are using, and we are getting this valid and invalid over here. So let's just remove it because it is not required now. We know the concept. Second thing is that we are adding the default value for this title. Let's remove this one also because we need to cover one very important concept over here. Okay, now let's see what we have. Here we are having two fields. First is title and second is the author. Here you can see both of them are invalid because they are required and we have not entered the value over here, and that is why as a result we are getting this error message at the bottom side. If we will enter anything like this one, the error message is gone. Here also if I will enter anything, the error message will gone. But I want to make the changes in this form, and I want to display this error message only if the user has clicked or touched this particular control. Let's understand how to do that. And if I want to achieve this kind of functionality, then there must be something that will tell us that the user has put a cursor on this one or has clicked on this one. We need these type of properties, and to get these values we can refer to ng model directive that we have used in this Angular application form. So this is the ng model that we are using. You can search for ng model over here on this website and just click on this ng model, and basically you will get this particular page. If you will scroll down on this page, then there are so many things that are provided by this ng model. There are so many properties. You can use this name as an input, is disabled as an input, model. There are so many options that you can pass. But we are much interested in this abstract control directive. Let's see what we have over here. Here you will see there are so many properties. This is the value, valid, invalid, pending, disabled, enabled, and so many are there. And these are very important properties. If you will go to the ng form that we are using on the form level, here also you will see we are having the similar properties. So it means we are learning about one control, but these things are applicable for the entire form as well. So here we are using this abstract control directive, and you can go to this page by clicking on this link. Right click and open it in the new tab. Let's scroll down a little bit, and here we are having the definition of all the properties. So this is the value, this is the name of the property, the type is any, and here is the description. It is read only property and reports the value of the control if it is present. If we are having the control and we need to access its value, then we will get the value. If there is no value or there is no control, then we will get null. Second is valid, and we have already used these value, valid, and invalid properties. Now let's focus on other properties. Next is pending. This control is very useful if you are working with the async controls. This one is disabled. If you want to check whether your control is disabled or not, then you can use this property. Next we have enabled. This is just the opposite of this disabled. Errors, we will come to this one later, but here let's talk about pristine, dirty, touched, and status. These four properties. The pristine is very important. So here it is saying reports whether the control is pristine. It means the user has not yet changed the value in the UI. If you are using this pristine property at the control level and user has not changed anything in that control, then it will be true. If there is any change in the value by the user, then it will be false. Second is dirty. If user is making any change in the control or the UI, again if you are using it at the model level, then that model is applicable. If we are using this property at the form level, then all the fields that we are using inside that form, it will be applicable to all of them. If user has changed the value of a particular UI, then this will be dirty. Touched. If we are clicking inside that particular control and clicking outside, immediately this will get fire. This one is status. This will return the status of that particular control if it is valid, invalid, disabled, pending, etc. Next one is untouched. If user has not touched that particular event, the blur event has not yet triggered, then it will be true. Then there are so many things that we can use over here. So it is the status changes, the value changes. We will come to that later, but here first let's talk about these four properties: this pristine, dirty, touched, and status. Let's go to this HTML file, and first let's start the learning on this first input box. So here I'm writing the logic. Let's create a table, and in the table let's create the tr. Here I'm having one td, and in this td I will start the learning from this pristine. So let's use this pristine. Over here let's use one more td, and here I can use this book title, this one, dot pristine. Let's add a couple of more rows over here. So I'm having 4 of them, and the next one is this dirty. This is dirty, dirty, touched, so here we are using 4 properties, and let's go to the UI. Here you will see we are having this pristine is equals to true, this dirty is equals to false, this touched is equals to false, and status is invalid. Okay, so these are the default values, and we have not done anything in this particular control. The pristine is true, it means user has not changed any value in this particular control. Second is dirty. Dirty is false because we have not updated any value. Touched is false because we have not clicked anywhere in this control, and the status is invalid because there are one validation that we are applying on this field and we are not passing any value. That is why this one is invalid. Now let's see what will happen. I am just clicking inside this input box, and let's click outside. Once I will click outside, immediately the blur event will get fire, and this touched has been converted to true. There is no change on this pristine and dirty because we are not updating the value. We are only clicking inside this control and clicking outside. We are basically touching it. Now let's enter something over here. Here let's say I'm entering 1, and immediately you will see the pristine has changed to false. Earlier it was true, now it has been changed to false because we have updated the value. Second is dirty. We have changed the value of this control, that is why it is true now. Touched is true, and the last is status. It is valid because all the validations that we were using, all of them are valid now. This is how we can work with all these properties that are available inside this ng model. Now let's just refresh this page. By default you will see we are having the error message. I want to display this error message only in 2 cases. First is this form is invalid and the user has touched this particular event. I do not want to display the error message by default. How can I do that? Just go to this form, and over here go to this HTML page. This is the place where we are displaying this error message. Here we are using this hidden. So there are 2 ways. Either you can use the hidden or you can use the ngif. We have already done it by using the hidden. Now if you want to use ngif, let's try that one also. So here I'm using ngif if this one is invalid. Basically there is no change in the condition because earlier we were hiding it on the valid, now we are displaying it on the invalid. But this is not what I want. I want to display the error message if the user has touched it. Let's use end, and here I'm using book title dot touched. Now over here on this form you will see that by default there is no error message. If I will click over here and click outside, then only I will get to see this error message, and this is what I want. Let's do the same thing here in this second authors as well. So this time let's use star ngif if this is invalid, and author dot touched. By default there is no error message over here, but if I will just touch it and click outside, then I will get this error. Again if I will click it and click outside, we will get this error message. If I enter anything over here, let's say this one, the error message is gone. Here also if I'm entering anything, the error message is gone. But again we have one more situation. Let's say I'm having 2 validations over here on this particular control. So we are only working with this required, and this is the max length. Let's convert it to min length. So here you will see that we are getting this error message. But if I am typing anything over here, you will see that we are having this error message, please enter the book title. Although we have entered the value over here, still we are getting this error message. This is because this form control is still invalid. Here you can see the status is invalid because it is not fulfilling this requirement. The minimum length should be 10. If I will add more than 10 like this, then it has changed to valid. Now we need to understand how can we display the error message based on a particular validation. It means I want to display a separate message for the required and I want to display another message for the min length.